Hello, hello, hello. This is just going to be a little stream showing how I go about setting up my AI drivers for AMS2. This is a spreadsheet that I kind of put together over a couple of days. Um, Basically, whenever I click anywhere here, it's randomly pulling a bunch of names and randomizing a bunch of stats through this set here. Hey, Hari, how are you? I can go through each one of these skills here just from what I understand, based on the notes from Ryza. Uh, the race skill is essentially how good the driver is going to drive and the pace. Quali is the same thing, but in the qualification session, aggression is pretty straightforward. The higher the number, the more aggressive they're going to be. Defending, how good they are at defending their position. Very well, mate. Glad to hear it. Stamina is um, how well they're going to maintain the pace that they have throughout the race. So, like this person's race skill is 0.97, which is pretty high, 1.00 being the highest. Stamina is zero point 0.8, which means they'll lose. I don't know if this is quite a bit, but they'll lose more the longer the race goes on. Now, consistency is basically every time there's an update that says, hey, the stamina goes down a bit, it's random, I think, between every few laps or whatnot. The consistency is how much of this they're going to lose when it does that check. So the higher this number is, the less amount that they're going to lose. Starting reaction is how good they are off the line. Wet skill, how good they drive in the rain. Tire management is it doesn't affect their lap times. They will drive the exact same, but it's how fast their tires are degrading. So they could be driving the exact same, but this person here with 0.91 will have tires that last longer than this person that has 0.75. Blue flag concede how easily they'll yield to you as you're approaching or other cars if they are a back marker. Weather tire change is if it's raining or the track is wet, I'll just say that, um, how much they're inclined to go in and pit to change their tires according to the weather conditions. So the closer to one this number is, the sooner they'll come in to change their tires. Uh, Avoiding mistakes, this is just in general driving. If they're moving around and just lose control on a corner on their own. Avoid pressure mistakes is if you're pressing their position, this will affect how often they will make mistakes based on the pressure that somebody's putting on them. I find that with the default settings, they're too, I don't want to say too perfect, but they don't happen as often. So I like to have both of these set to point one all the way down, just so it seems a little bit more realistic to me because I don't want to race against perfect lines all the time. Weather tire change, I leave this to be randomized under my settings. Blue flag conceding the same thing. Not everybody's going to, want to give up that position easily or get past easily. Some people, um, will sit on a corner or easily let you go by. I might change this because I'm finding sometimes, I don't know if you approach a back marker and they slow down too soon and you try to pass them on the inside, that they'll still try and get to the apex and then park it on the corner because they're still under a blue flag warning. So I might lower this even more or max it out just to see how it's affected. Uh, Tire management, I keep this higher between zero point 0.7 and 1.00 so that just to me it makes sense. Like not everybody's going to come in, but if the weather's bad, you're going to want to come in and change the tires. Wet skill, I like to have the variable here. Not everybody's going to be great driving in wet track conditions. Starting reactions, I have this perfect all the way down just so that there's no spinning out, smoke everywhere, people running into each other. I like to leave this maxed out so they all just start going at the exact same time. Consistency, I have set between zero point 0.8 and 1.00 just because I don't think it's realistic to um, start out say really good and then you're really bad after 10-15 minutes. So I like to leave it a little bit high. Stamina, kind of the same deal. Defending, I leave at zero point 0.5 for everything, and this is only because I want them to be bad at defending to try and avoid the train lines of cars that they tend to form. So I leave this at zero point 0.5 so that it hopefully promotes passing amongst the other AI. Um, Aggression, I have this set pretty wide between average and like maximum. Qualification skill is just zero point 0.1 below whatever their race skill is. And race skill I have set between zero point 0.6. I think their notes say that zero point 0.5 would be quote average. So zero point 0.6 and 1.00. So if we take someone here, for example, that's say this one, Lara Matthews, they have almost perfect race skill. Their qualification is just zero point 0.1, like minus zero point 0.1 from their race skill. Their aggression is kind of decent. Their stamina is 0.87, so they might lose a little bit of pace throughout the entirety of the race, but the rate that they're going to lose that pace is really low because their consistency is 0.97. I hope that makes sense. Does that make sense? Wet skill, tire management. Where can I find the Excel sheet? Um, I can after I'm done this, I'll see how I can share this out. Um, I have a stats tab here that basically goes into what each stat does. This is based on the notes from Ryza. The cars list. So this is where I come in to, like, say I wanted to do a new set for GTEs. So what you want to do is in the game, if you switch to the GTE cars, you would have to get this name here for every single one of these liveries. So you want to make note of where the spacings are, like this. So Corvette space, racing space, number 3, and you want to type this in is exactly how it's written under each livery here. And you're going to have to do that for each one of the vehicles here. And you got to be careful because you can't have any spelling mistakes in any of these or else the entire file won't work. So you come through Team Porsche 92. Okay. So like I did that yesterday for this set here. So I wanted to do the GTEs like this. So you come in and you'd write them all out just like this. If I wanted to do GTEs, I could just take this list here, paste it in, and remove these old GT3 cars. Now when I go on to my final list here, this is automatically generating the file, like what the output in the file would need to look like based on the information from the first page here. So we can see Corvette Racing number 3, Luca Casey. Here we have Corvette Racing number 3, Luca Casey, and then all their stats for this. So what I do here, copy, and then on this side, you do paste special values only. If you don't do values only, anywhere that there's quotes, sorry, anywhere that there's quotes, like this here, have you tried multi-class? Excuse me. I did before, but because I don't want to say that they were too good, but or I wasn't doing longer races. I did a GT3 and I think a GT4 race, but the GT4s were always so close behind the back of the GT3 pack that you never encountered them as traffic. I don't know what that would be like in, say, like the 90-minute races that I've been doing. So once this is pasted here, you have to triple click into this, and then so that you can actually select the text here. So you want to select everything, copy it, and then go into the default location where your Automobilista 2 is, user data, custom AI drivers. If I share this out, it's mentioned up here where that path is. And then what you want to do, because this is going to be GTE cars, you want to make a new document, new text document, which I already did, and I called it temp just because when I save this again, it's going to be saved as an XML, and this will still exist. So I go in here, and then you just paste this in. If you did if you don't do the edit paste special values, you'll get extra quotes in here just because the way that Excel handles this, which will then break the file. And then because the GTE class has a smaller roster of cars, you're going to have empty fields here where, driver livery name is just double quotes here. You're going to want to take all those out. So here, double quotes, all the way up to Manti Racing. This was the last car on the list. So each group like this is one car. So from driver livery name to / driver is one car. So we got to take those out, all these empties. And you want to leave in this / custom AI drivers. This marks the end of the file. And you do file, save as, and you want to put double quotes, GTE .xml, and then double quotes. This way it changes the extension of the file from .txt to .xml. Then hit save. You can close that because you're done. And then now we have this GTE XML file right here. And then the next time you load up AMS2 and pick GTEs, you're going to have this grouping of cars. The other thing to note too, like once you're on this page here, like you can click this and it will just keep automatically generating new names, new countries, and randomized stats through here. This page here populates the left side, but this also updates anytime that you copy this from here to over here. It's going to count as a change on the page, and then it's going to automatically generate another set. So like over here we have Alonzo Bird here, edit, paste, values only. Because the page updated by updating this cell, now there's an entirely new set right here. So you just keep going back and forth. Yeah, so that's pretty much what I do. Like you probably make this better. Oh, I accidentally deleted my cars out of there. There. You could probably make this more efficient where you could pick like a class from here and then would auto-populate the list, but I'm not driving everything in the game, so I just manually went through and wrote them out. This list over here is the file names that the classes have to be saved as. So we just did GTE, so that's got to be GTE.xml. I did Formula Ultimate Race the other day. That was this file right here that I had to make. If you want to have, say, a more like zero point 0.6 is pretty low. These will definitely be quick back marker, like back markers sooner than later. If you wanted to have this, say, like the lowest we want would be 0.9. You can change that. So now all the race skills will be between max and 0.9, but then everything else will be the same as it was before. So I usually come in and say, well, I find they're driving uh, too aggressive or not aggressive enough, and then I would come in, bump this up or down, and then make that apply to this whole row here. I don't remember what I had. I think I had a 60 here. I just found with the default drivers that I like to have the traffic over time. AI names. You can also change AI names. Yeah, so what I did for the names, uh, I just went to a website and had it randomly generate 2,000 names. So that's what essentially this sheet here is just 2,000 random names. And then this column here is how it's pulling the names and not allowing the duplicates. So if, like when I share this out, you could come in and change all these names to whatever you want. The only thing is because I have this down here, um, because this is like on the final tab here, like this is how it's constructing the the drivers, because so that the only thing that's constant is these parts of each line in the driver, because you have to have the country and then slash country, race skill slash race skill. So on this tab here, it's calling that cell to put the first half, and then it's pulling the name cell and then the end cell. Um, just this might become a problem if I'm not sure what the max number of drivers is that's possible on any given track, but if you added more cells into here and these lost their placement, like it's no longer A50, it could break these ones here because it's referencing those cells. But for now, I don't think it's that big of a deal. Is this helpful at all? Good stuff. Do you have any other questions? There's more options to change from the. Let me see here. Works. This one. There's more things to change. Like there's extra stats here, like fuel management. I don't have that on there. Um, but like in the note says, for now this only works on oval tracks, but I don't race on oval tracks. There's another one that's the same. Um, there's another one that does this same sort of deal where it's not really applied currently or only under certain conditions, so I don't have it in there. We'll look through Excel sheet after you share it. We'll write you if I have any. Perfect. Okay, so I'll figure out how to share this out, but just in the sense that someone could make a copy, like the file, make a copy here and not break the one that I use. And then I'll add it into a link for it in the description of this. Okay, awesome. Okay, I'm going to end it here. If you have any other comments or questions, just write it down in the comment section. I'll throw the link up as soon as I can. Yeah, no problem. And then I'll probably do a race around 11 o'clock. All right, have a good one.